Hello, my family. You often hear news reporting an earthquake with a magnitude of 7 or 8 on the Richter scale. But in reality, the Richter scale is only used to measure small tremors and earthquakes, up to a maximum of around 5.5. For larger earthquakes, we rely on another scale called the moment magnitude scale. This scale was invented in 1977 by two seismologists, the Japanese Hiro Kanamori and the American Thomas. This scale is clearer and more accurate than the Richter scale. But here's the question. What would happen if the Earth were struck by an earthquake with a magnitude of 10 on the moment magnitude scale? Welcome to a new video from your channel, Unanswered Logic. Today's episode is about, what if Earth were hit by a magnitude 10 earthquake? First of all, before we talk about what might happen as a result of such a terrifying disaster, it's important to go over a few key points. For instance, if someone were to ask, what if this earthquake happened in a specific place? What would its impact be according to mathematical models based on the Earth's structure, dimensions, and the size of tectonic plates? Well, a magnitude 10 earthquake doesn't really have a chance of happening anywhere except in one specific place in the world, a region known as the subduction zone in the Pacific Ocean, which is part of what's called the Ring of Fire. Around 90% of all earthquakes and tremors on Earth occur in this region, and you could say that 100% of major earthquakes over magnitude 8.5 originate there. This is due to the nature and size of the tectonic plates in that area. Another thing we need to understand is that each single-digit increase in earthquake magnitude multiplies its energy by about 32 times. That means a magnitude 6 quake is 32 times stronger than a magnitude 5.1. So imagine what happens when we reach magnitude 10. That's why no one should be surprised by the massive difference in destruction between this hypothetical magnitude 10 quake and any other quake we've ever heard of, including the strongest recorded earthquake in history, the Valdivia earthquake, which measured 9.5 on the moment magnitude scale. Don't focus on the 0.5 difference, focus on the 16-fold increase in destructive power. In the first moments of such a quake, at the epicenter in the subduction zone, an amount of energy would be released equivalent to about 15,000 megatons of TNT, or in other words, the energy of 1 million Hiroshima-sized nuclear bombs. If we imagine the epicenter being located in the Pacific Ocean at a certain depth and about 200 kilometers from the nearest city, this immense energy might weaken slightly before reaching that city. But unfortunately, not enough to prevent total destruction. No city on Earth, not even those with fully earthquake-resistant buildings, could withstand this level of force. Buildings, roads, and infrastructure would collapse almost immediately. Some wooden buildings and even trees might be uprooted from the ground and thrown upward. The energy unleashed from below would literally lift them into the air. On top of that, fires, lightning strikes, and secondary accidents would break out everywhere. Within 30 seconds to a minute after the earthquake begins, its massive vibrations would reach areas and cities far beyond the epicenter, triggering secondary earthquakes and new volcanic eruptions in distant regions. Depending on each region's infrastructure, entire countries could face destruction, similar to the cities closest to the epicenter. Overall, and according to theoretical models, not a single square meter of Earth would be untouched by the shaking. Scientists say that the weakest tremor recorded far from the center would still register at around 3.5 on the Richter scale. In those distant areas, people might barely feel anything. But the real danger begins within the first few hours, possibly even before the first hour ends. Giant tsunamis would form and devastate all coastal cities near the epicenter. These waves would act like a follow-up strike, wiping out everything left standing after the quake. In just minutes, navigation and trade routes would be completely altered, and all nearby ports would be submerged. It's even likely that after several hours, the tsunami waves could reach every port along the Pacific Ocean, causing trillions of dollars in global losses. Not only would infrastructure be destroyed, but global trade would grind to a halt. Finally, just so no one panics, everything we're talking about here is purely theoretical. Thankfully, according to actual scientific data, there's no realistic chance of an earthquake exceeding magnitude 9.8, because the size of Earth's tectonic plates simply can't support that level of rupture. The only possible exception would be a hypothetical scenario where a massive extraterrestrial object crashes into Earth, causing fractures far beyond what the plates could normally handle. And here we've reached the end. We hope you found it informative and, more importantly, enjoyable. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so we can keep bringing you content you love. See you next time and have a great day.